In this video, I want to be building a full complete onboarding system in both Make.com and n8n side by side. You'll see exactly how each platform works, how to build the same automation in both, and which one's actually better for your use case. And in case we haven't met, my name is Michele, and over the past 12 months, I've helped over 40 businesses implement AI and automations using platforms like Make.com and n8n, and taught over 17,000 people in the process, all starting with zero technical knowledge. With that being said, let's dive in. All right, so the system that we're going to be building today is an onboarding system. So onboarding is everything that happens after the client, well, signs in this case, but in this case, the trigger for the actual automation will be, go here, will be us filling out a form. So this will be an onboarding form. So we're on a call with the client. They say, yes, let's work together. One of our team members is going to fill out the form to then kick off the onboarding. Okay. So onboarding form, and this is something that I always do. I just map things out before I actually build them. Onboarding form, which then leads into create a Google Drive folder. Create a Drive folder to store all the assets for the client. This is like a typical thing for agencies. And then we can create an onboarding document. Then we can add details to a Google Sheet. Now the Google Sheet will be like a CRM type thing where you just store information. And the last thing is send the client, onboarding email. Now, why am I doing this use case? I guess one of the most typical use cases that businesses have, at least online-based agencies, online-based businesses have, that they have to do for every single client. And this is something that they usually do very manually. So having an automation in place that can do this is perfect. All right, with that said, let's dive in. Onboarding form, we can use Typeform as a software. Drive folder, we can use Google Drive. And this is the way that I plan things up. I just like to put softwares there so we are able to then build the automation in a much more efficient way. Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Gmail. There we go. Let me make this a different color. I don't like this for, there we go. All right, so let's go to Make.com right here. This is the first platform we're going to use to then be able to build the automation. I'm going to make the account. And again, this, like n8n, like Zapier, is just a no-code platform. So Make.com actually recently changed the way that things look here. I think it looks more techy for some reason. I'm going to press create a new scenario, which basically creates the automation. This is what it looks like in Make.com. Now we're going to go to n8n, sign in. So make an account, open instance, and then we can create a workflow. So open a scenario, create a workflow is pretty much the same. And we start with the first step. Same thing with Make.com. Now I'm going to go one by one because I don't want to do step here, step there, step here, step there. It will be more confusing. So let's start with Make.com. And the first step here is to create a type form. So create a form, an onboarding form that has the details, which when filled out will start the automation. Okay. So in this case, we have to look for Typeform, which we find right here. And then the action that we're taking, so these are different actions that we can take within that software, will be watch responses. Why? We'll be watching the new responses when someone fills out the form. And this will be the first thing that starts the automation. All right, so I'm not gonna configure this yet. What I'm gonna do is go to Typeform myself. I'll make an account. And for the free account, you actually get 10 responses per month, right, that you can use for free. Obviously, for a business, you would have to get the paid account. That will give you more responses. But this one's good for testing. All we're going to do is create a new form. Then we're going to create with AI. Let's do it. For all forms. So let's do onboarding form that has the following questions. Full name, company name, email, location. You get the location. That's it. Continue. We'll see what this cooks up. It's actually the first time that I use this. So, all right, there you go. Welcome to your onboarding form. Please provide your following details. Not bad, not bad. Please fill out the details below. So now this will be the form that the team member from the company will fill out when starting the onboarding. Okay, this is pretty decent actually. I'm gonna press share. I'm going to then, thank you. I'm going to get the link for the form to see if it's all good. Perfect, start. Cool, that's good. Okay, now I'm going to connect Typeform to make.com, that specific form, I mean, to make.com. I'm going to go here. I'm going to press add. I'm then going to press add here. Put Michele connection 1st October. Press save, accept. So we're saying, yep, make.com, you're able to use my Typeform freely. Put onboarding form. So we're naming the connection. And the form ID is like, what form do you want? In this case, it will be my new form. So you can see here, this is my new form. You can change this to onboarding. Cool. Press save. There we go. So easy enough to connect your software. Very, very easy. And look at this. It looks very visual, right? Compared to n8n, I would say. It looks so much easier. All right, I'm going to press run once and I'm going to test this. So to test, press this button on the bottom, right? And we go here, copy the link, paste it, and now we get to test the form. Press start, put Michele, Torti, 201-555-1234. Company name will be JM Solutions. Press submit. And now this will send the information here. And this is what make.com's UI look like. So we have on the right-hand side, the number of operations, the number of credits, and this is the way that we get the data. So compared to n8n that we get the input, the configuration, and the output, this is just output here. We get a form ID and we get mappable answers with this. So we know that this is the answer. Awesome. Now, one important thing is that when we get to the next steps, there isn't any configuration, there isn't any setting that allows us to pin the data to then test, right? What I mean by this is that if you go to n8n, and I'll show you later, when we run something like this, we have the ability to pin data so that every time that I have to run the automation from start until the end, I don't have to rerun the form. I don't have to redo the whole thing, right? Which again is a good feature to have, because if this is a really complex automation, well, we're gonna have to test each step. Then it's just so much harder. It's just so much more time consuming. And again, I only have 10 responses, so I'm gonna have to like not test them steps just for the mess of it. But to go around that feature, we can actually put a wait. No, that's n8n, my bad. Sleep, there you go. 2 seconds. So this basically says, hey, let's wait 2 seconds before going to the next step. And let me put list responses. Let me go to Typeform. And let me go to list responses. Now, why am I using list responses? I'm using list responses so I don't have to test over and over again. So in this case, the form will be my new form. Is it my new form? Is this even the right account? There we go. Okay, I have to reauthorize it. Accept. Yeah, it triggers every single time that we run the automation. But to test this, we have to run this over and over again. So what we're doing here is we're basically setting the outputs so that we're able to test the rest of the flow without having to give new responses every single time. It will make much more sense once you actually do it. So here, if I press 2 fingers here, I can actually run this module only by having this feature. Pretty good feature that make.com has. And I have these, right? So I don't have to run the whole thing again. So now what I can do is I can 2 fingers, unlink this, and bring this over here so that the automation starts here. And then I can bring it back once we actually set it live. All right, so you got to see kind of what it's like building in make.com so far. I feel like this is so much easier to, I guess, look at, right? Firsthand, rather than n8n. The next step is create a drive folder. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to Google Drive. Google Drive, create a folder. I like that it's here, to be honest, rather than here on the right-hand side, like n8n. Create a folder. And you wanna connect your email to the Google Drive, right? If you use a Gmail domain, make sure to follow this guide right here, or else use a work domain. Just go here and use a work domain. So any work domain works. And when you bring it back, you will be connected. In this case, I'm using my company, Automation at JM Solutions. It's just a test email that we made. And we can use new drive location. That's fine, my drive. New folder location. If I press / it would just be like anywhere in the folder or anywhere in the drive. And now it's asking me, what is the folder's name? In this case, I want the folder's name to be the company name onboarding folder. So I'm gonna press this, and you can see on the right-hand side, we get the different variables. Now, the only bad thing about this is that when I go like this, it keeps changing the side, which is a bit like annoying, but it is what it is. And in this case, I'm going to drag and drop the company, right? JM Solutions. Oh, you can't see it properly. There you go, JM Solutions. I'm gonna drag this across. We can even tap on this, which n8n does not have. And I can say onboarding folder. Press share folder, yes, reader anyone. And I'm going to run once. So this is just a test. So you can see I didn't have to put this whole form again. And I have the folder. If I go here, web view link. So this is the output again of Google Drive. And I know that web view link is the link that we can view the folder on the web. If I paste this, I can see that now it takes me to the onboarding folder, which is great. So this is the first step. So that right there on a business case would be the folder that the company would be able to add all the assets for the client to have everything in one place. All right, once this is done, we can get on to creating an onboarding document. This can be done on Google Docs. Just press plus. So this is very similar to n8n. Just press plus and put the next step. We can go to Google Doc, create a document. You can call this, so the connection, basically the exact same. In this case, if you use a Gmail domain, no problem. You can just sign in with Google and bring it back here. And the name, you can say, so this now you can see the previous variables. You can see the Google Drive, and now you can see also the Typeform. Here, you can say, drag this across. So the company name, onboarding document. Okay. So we're naming the onboarding document, like the actual onboarding document. And now for the content, which is what is the thing inside the actual document? Well, we actually don't want anything in this case, but we have to put something. So we can just put onboarding and then let our team just kind of change it later. Make sure here, because we're going to do something that allows the document to be stored inside the Drive folder. Make sure that the connection here, so automation at JM Solutions, is the same email that you're using Google Drive. Because now here, choose a Drive folder, new document location. I can press map and I can bring the folder ID, which you can find here, over here, so that we make the document and this now goes inside the Google Drive. Now for you Microsoft folks, this is basically saying you make a Microsoft Word document and it gets stored into OneDrive because Google is connected. Okay, so simple as that. We can just press this button map and then we can bring out the variable here, which is good. Now press save. Let's test this. Run once. This now makes the Google Drive folder, makes the document. So if I go inside the folder, I actually see the document and the Drive folder. Well, of course I can see the Drive folder, but the document here, which is good. Onboarding, cool. And the document will then be where they can store any information about the client, right? Just to store information about the client in one place, and it's done automatically. The next step is to add the details to a Google Sheet. So let me just make a new Google Sheet. We can call this onboarding sheet. I'm putting extra G's because I think I have like 50 Google Sheets named onboarding. You can put full name. We can put email. We can put location. We can put Drive folder link. Phone number. Company name. Cool. And this Google Sheet will be the one where we add the information. Now, would a company have a Google Sheet? Probably not. They would have maybe a ClickUp or Notion or HubSpot, right? GHL, whatever they use. But this is just a good way to just test and yeah, we can store information. So all I have to do here is press plus, Google Sheet. There we go, add a row, which n8n names it append a row. I think they're just trying to make English complicated. Make sure you connect your connection here. Actually quite easy. I think the login part for make.com is actually much easier than it is on n8n. It just looks easier. I mean, look at this, right? You know this because it's Google Drive. It looks clean. Maybe because it's white. Maybe because it's white. Maybe that's it. But even when I put n8n on white mode, I think it still looks complex. But I mean, either way, there we go. You can press add, connect to your account, and then that's fine. It can be searched by path, my drive, because everything is in my drive. And the spreadsheet ID will be onboarding. Well, actually, I don't think it's this account. It's with my personal account. So let's change the connection. There we go. Onboarding. There we go. Onboarding sheet. And now what I can do is sheet one. So the options are very, very clear, very clean. And I have the option now to put the different fields. So full name, I can pull this from first name, space last name. Email, I can pull this from here. And you can't see that right now because I have this here. Let me just, yeah, there we go. Location, right, we don't have any location. There you go. Let's delete this. Delete location. Let me refresh. Let me save this and then refresh. So refreshing just means, hey, look at the columns again. Now I deleted location, as you can see. And go down to Typeform. There we go. Typeform here. Company name. The drive folder link is the thing that you can find. WebView link. And press save. Now, again, why is this important? Why do we have a Google Sheet? Because it's always important to look at the business use case, right? Because they need a way to store everything. So we make a Google Drive folder. We make a Google Docs. So this is the onboarding document, which goes inside the Drive folder, which this will be the one that's going to be shared with the client. And then we add this. So we add the folder, which has a document in it within our Google Sheet right here, which is like our CRM. CRM is just the way that companies manage their contacts and their clients. And that's it. So I'm going to go here, make sure this is freeze up to row 1. And let's test this. See, I hate that I have to retest everything from here. Even though I don't have to rerun the actual form, I don't like the fact that I have to rerun this again. Fuck's sakes, I'm gonna have like 50 onboarding folders. Let me press run once again. Add a row. There we go. Perfect. If I go here, then we can see that we have the onboarding document inside, right? Amazing. Let me just make this color dark, white, centered, bolded. So it looks nice. And apart from this, is there anything else that we have to do here? Yes, email, right? Yeah, email. So I'm gonna go here, Gmail, and now we can send an email. To add your Gmail, you can press add. And if you have a Gmail domain, follow this guide right here. If you have a work domain, just sign in with Google. You can still sign in with Google with a Gmail, but because of authorization issues and because Make.com and even n8n makes it so much harder for us to be able to do that, we have to follow this guide. And now we have 3 different fields that we have to fill out. The first one is, who are we sending the email to? The second one is, what is the subject line? And the third one is, what do you want inside the email? So who are we sending the email to? So ideally, this is the customer that we put the email in, because when we fill out this form, we put the details of the customer, right, to onboard them. So in this case, it would be the email that we find here. And the subject line will be, welcome to the JM, so company name, team. Welcome to the JM team. I mean, this will be the name of our company, right? JM Solutions. And these are actually emails that we send to our clients when we need to onboard them. Because typically what a lot of teams do, they make the document individually. They send the document to the client. They make the Google Drive individually, send it to the client, and then they send another email as well. Right? So 3 different emails. In this case, it's all automated within the same place. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do something which honestly most people don't even show that they do, but I'm just going to do it because I can't be asked to write the email. I'm going to pull in the WebView link and pull in the first name. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. Okay, so I said I'm writing an onboarding email to a client. Please draft an onboarding email in the HTML format, which again is the format that we see here, HTML. And I also said here are the 2 variables that I want inside the email, onboarding folder link and first name. I'm gonna press go, and hopefully it gives me the onboarding email. It's always one of those that when I do a video about it, it never works. And then when I don't need it to work, it works. That's just tech goes, but that's just how tech goes. Okay, here we have the HTML. Okay, so we have a full email with color as well. So all of these are just a way to make your email look pretty. Like honestly, you don't need them. I don't know why I went overboard here, but we'll use it. And now you can see that it says, hey, first, this is the variable that we get from make.com. This one right here. Jesus Christ, that's a long email. It's running an essay. Okay, let me just copy code. Let me just go here and it should work now. If I paste this, why is this so long? Okay, yeah, there we go. WebView link. Honestly, I don't know what any of this means, but I just know that we have hey first name, and here's the onboarding folder, right? Apparently, yeah, we've set up your secure onboarding workspace where we keep everything organized, remove the long dash, file, assets, timelines, and updates. Perfect. Want to press save. I'm now going to just run this once because we have to run it once. A bit of a thing I don't like about make.com, like I mentioned. And this should now send me an email. If I go here, I can see that I got welcome to the JM Solutions team. God damn, look at that. There we go. No wonder it made such an essay. We have, hi Michele, great to have you with us. We'll set up your secure onboarding workspace. We'll keep everything organized, file, assets, timelines, and updates. If I press this, I can see that it takes me to the onboarding folder. And it also says direct link in case the button doesn't work. Now this is smart. This is actually pretty smart. What happens next? Upload any relevant assets, review the product overview, fill in the kickoff questionnaire. We'll confirm timelines. I mean, this is obviously hallucinating. Like, we don't have to fill in any questionnaire. If you need any help, just reply to an email and we'll jump in. Perfect. I mean, better than I expected, to be honest, which is great. There we go. So this right here, let me just now turn this to, yeah, it's good. Turn this here. So whenever we submit a new response, what it does is that it sends it all the way through until the end. So you can call this onboarding system, YouTube tutorial. All right, so now we can run it from scratch. The only thing I have to do is go here, and instead of running all the responses, I can map this, which means it only is one variable every single time, and I can give it the token. Now the token, this will make much more sense once you run it, but basically, if we leave it the way it was, it will run from here all the way here. It will take all the responses that we've done so far. It will then send them through, right? Which you don't want. In this case, we want only the ID of this response to be processed and then be added here, right? All the way. All right, now we're going to press run once, which will run the automation from scratch. I'm going to press start, put my details. I'm going to press submit. This will now send a signal here. It should work. Yeah, perfect. There we go. Yeah. And send us an email. So if I go here to the Google Sheet, I can see that we have Jane Smith with the drive folder. If I go to my email, welcome to the JM Solutions team. Hi, Jane. This is so sick, by the way. I didn't know you could do that. I mean, I did know you could do that. I just didn't know it could do that with just a simple prompt. I guess GPT is just getting smarter and smarter every day. And we have the onboarding document. All right, cool. Well, this took a lot longer than I expected, but we still have n8n to go. So hang on, and you'll see how I build the exact same thing at n8n at twice the speed, hopefully, because you already saw the way it's set up. Perfect. And if you want the full blueprint, or in this case, scenario, I'm going to show you exactly how to get it at the end of the video. So stick with me. Let me go to n8n right here, and let's start again. So first step will be Typeform trigger. So this is basically saying, hey, connect Typeform. To connect your Typeform, we have to give it an access token. So this is a change already. To connect your Typeform, you can't just log in. You need a token. The token, I believe, I just mean I don't even know where you get it. Well, I think integrations. Is it? No, it's not. We can go to profile, settings, or absent integration. It should be, oh, there we go. Personal tokens, generate new token, put Michele, all scopes, which means that it has access to everything. Generate token, copy the token, then bring it back to n8n, paste this here, name it, connection on the 1st of October, and press save. Then you have connected this. So now for the form name, we can use my new form, and we can execute the step, which means that we can start the step. As you can see, the way that this looks compared to this, much more codey. You can tell this platform is definitely for developers or wannabe developers in a sense. I'm going to press execute step, and I'm going to run this. Now I have to be careful because I only have 3 responses left, right? So we don't want to be paying for this. I'm going to refresh, and I'm going to then start. Jane Smith 201-555-1234. Put my email, Acme Corporation, press submit. This should now send the data here. So you can see we have Jane Smith, phone number, email, company. And now, difference here, you can press this little button right here, which is such a good feature. When we paint the data, this basically, I don't have to rerun it every single time. I don't have to put list responses. I don't have to put a wait node, right? This is just so much easier here. And if I want to run the next step, I can just press execute workflow and this will execute it. This will run it again. As you can see, it just ran it, right? Without us having to actually run the automation. Okay, so next step is to create a drive folder, Google document, Google Sheets, and Gmail. So pretty standard process, Google Drive, create a folder. So you can see the left-hand side is the input, the right-hand side is the output, a bit different from make.com. When you get started, I think this looks much worse because it doesn't make too much sense when you get started. Now we have to connect our account. We can go here, create a new credential. I'm not gonna go through it in this video. I actually made a full video breaking that down in like less than 5 minutes. So check it out up here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to resource, action is create. And the folder name, it will be the company name. So as you can see, I can't just tap this. It doesn't let me just tap. I have to pull this through. And now you can see it's code, right? So you actually get to see that this is code. Whilst in make.com, you don't actually get to see it, which tells you the ICP, which means like the person who's meant to be using each platform, who they're targeting, is a bit different. What I like though, is that we get to see the output, right? Which we don't get to see in make.com. So this shows us the output before it even gives us the output. Let's name this onboarding folder. My drive, root folder, that's fine. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press execute step and it will run this even though we didn't have to fill out the form again, right? Because this data is pinned. So it's just there. Okay, so now we have the ID and this will be a bit different actually because it doesn't give us the actual link. It gives us the ID. Let me pin this. Now let me make a Google document, Google Docs, create a document. So create a new credential. Same exact thing. Watch the same video to connect here. I'm gonna go here, close. Document will be the thing that we're changing. Operation would be the action that we're taking. And the folder name, in this case, it will be the ID. So instead of pressing map, we press expression. Expression allows us to put something that isn't an option here, right? It allows us to put our own option. In this case, we wanna put the ID of here, which you can see the output. And the title will be company name. I mean, just look at this, right? If a guy just started, or someone just started with their automation journey, and look at this. This looks much more complex than just looking at a variable, right? So there's a bit of the comparison, onboarding document. But I love that I can see the output here. It's really, really good. I can now press execute step. So what it did now is that it added the Google document in the Google Drive without me having to make a new Google Drive and without me having to create a new form like response. Not just time, but also responses on our Typeform because we don't have to rerun their Typeform and it's just free in this case. Okay, let me pin this. So all of these are just variables that are pinned, which means that the data is there. So I can test it whenever I want. If I press execute workflow. And now what we have to do is, let me go here, Google Sheet and Gmail. So I can press Google Sheet, write it, get the thing, and then it will be append a row in a sheet. And this, in difference to the others, you can actually sign in with Google. It'll take you right here. Pick an account that works for you and then bring it back. Okay, I have my account. It will be the onboarding sheet. So let me look for onboarding. There we go. It'll be sheet within document, append a row, and then it'll be sheet 1. And now here we can map each column manually. Full name, this will be first name, space, last name. Yeah, it's awesome that we can see the actual result. Because if we see the actual results, then we know in that moment that is right or wrong. The email will be, God, there. What you can also do instead of dragging it across is you can put curly bracket, curly bracket, curly bracket, curly bracket. Make sure it's an expression. And inside, you can put a $sign. And now you can pull in the variables. So JSON, not JSON. Where is it? There we go. So earlier nodes. So you can put $sign. You can access previous nodes. So in this case, it will be Typeform trigger. You can put a dot, item, dot, JSON, dot, the variable that you want. In this case, it will be phone number, which will give us the exact same thing as me just doing this. But of course, what is more convenient? Well, you probably know the answer. Company name will be here. Okay, now for the drive link, I don't get the drive link here. we get the ID. But I know that in Drive, I know that in any folder that we have in Google Drive, this is going to be the URL. Okay. So what I can do, right? Let me do expression. Let me press this button right here, which will make it full screen. I love this feature. What I can do is I can replace the ID, which is the last part of the link, and replace it with the ID, which is this. Because this right here is static. This right here is dynamic, right? So now I can press execute step. What this will do is that it will then send the information here, in this case, because these rows need them, with the Google Drive folder, which we can't access because I'm signed in with automation, but the other account is my personal account, which is fine. But now this will be the thing that we send to the client. All right, so next step will be the Gmail. So Gmail, send a message, connect your Gmail, just sign in with Google. Very good, connect your account. And now we have to do resource, which is message, send, which is the action that we're taking. In this case, it will be to the client that we had here before. The subject line, let me just go here. Let me just copy the subject line. Well, if anything, I have to copy the body, right? But subject line here. And now we have a problem because I have the HTML here, but I can't directly copy it, right? Because in the HTML here, we have this variable right here, which is only a make.com variable. So it doesn't actually translate through to n8n. And I also have the web view link. So I can copy this. I can paste it here. So I can just say replace the variables with the following. First name, we can get from here, first name. Just copy this and paste it here. And Drive folder, so onboarding folder. You can find this here. Just copy this, paste it here. I can press submit. So this will now do is it will give us the HTML with the newly updated variables from n8n. This looks crazy. Looks nuts. But at least now we can keep the formatting, right? But just know that's something we have to do if you want to translate something from make.com to n8n. I can copy this. I can now just paste it here. Yeah, perfect. So you see here how it says, hi, Jane. So we know that this works because this variable is the one that, if it's green, it means it changes every single time. Same thing with this right here. So now what I can do is I can pin this and I can just execute this step. I go to my email. I can see my inbox that I have an email saying, welcome to the JM Solutions team, with the same exact email. Onboarding folder. Obviously, I can't access it again because I'm logged in as the other email. But let me actually log in with the other email. There we go. We're in. And the onboarding document as well, right here. Boom. And that right there is a full onboarding system that we have for n8n. So we built it on make.com. We built it on n8n. Now, what is my opinion on both? I'm very, very, very comfortable with both platforms. I think that as someone who's starting out, I think that your best bet is going to be make.com, just because the skill that we're learning is not necessarily n8n or make.com, right? Because these two platforms allow us to do basically the same. The actual skill that we're learning is how to build automations. It's APIs. It's understanding how apps talk to softwares or how apps talk to other apps. So when you get started, you ideally want something that gives you like less friction. So that makes it easy as possible for you to learn the skill of automation. And if that means going with make.com, which has, yes, less features, but it has enough for you to go out there and provide value to businesses, then go ahead and use make.com, right? But for others, obviously, for other things like AI agents, I think n8n definitely smashes it out of the park with that feature. But again, we're learning automations. We're not learning n8n or make.com. So I think like if you want to learn the skill of automation, AI automation, as someone who's not technical, I feel like you should go with the platform that gives you the ability to learn that skill in the fastest way, in the easiest way possible, without you having to figure out exactly what any of this shit is. I mean, this compared to this, like that's literally what it is. That's what it comes down to. And if you want the exact blueprint to this onboarding system right here in n8n and the make.com blueprint, then make sure to check out the first link down below, which will take you to my free school community right here. Make sure to go to the classroom section, go to the templates vault, and then you will see the latest video right here. with the option to download the n8n blueprint and the make.com blueprint as well. And if you have no clue how to do it, no worries at all. You can also go here, and it's a tutorial showing you how to do it on both platforms. And again, you can get tons of other blueprints, templates on make.com and n8n as well. And if you apply and you get in, you also get access to the AI Automations 101 course, which is a very, very comprehensive course that takes you from a real beginner in AI automation to someone who's actually able to build automations for themselves or for other businesses. But as I mentioned before, the community is free, but not everyone gets in, right? As you can see, we have a wait list of about 521 members. So please, please, please put some thoughts into your answers when you apply, and I'll see you on the inside. And if you like this comparison between make.com and n8n in building workflows, then you're gonna love this video up here, which shows you exactly the comparison between make.com and n8n AI agents. With that being said, I hope you found value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.